Life, life is fragile. Sometimes it moves slowly, almost gently, like the calm ripples of water. And sometimes, in a single heartbeat, everything changes. One moment, you're safe, surrounded by comfort and love, and the next, the world feels cold, silent, and indifferent. People we trust, sometimes they fail us. They betray us. But other times, the greatest miracles come from those we have never met. Strangers who choose, for no reason but their own compassion, to light a spark in someone else's darkness. In the far corners of Zuma City, where the streets are cracked, the alleys silent, and the air heavy with the scent of forgotten lives, an elderly woman walks alone. Her name is Veronica. She has nothing. No home, no family nearby, no money, no hope. Each step she takes is a reminder of how life can abandon even the strongest hearts. The cold bites through her thin coat. The shadows stretch long and lonely. But even here, in the silence of despair, destiny waits, in the form of a young nurse named Olivia, whose heart refuses to ignore a life crying out for help. Veronica's life had once been ordinary. A modest home tucked in a quiet neighborhood, a son she loved more than anything, and the small joys of daily routine. But life has a cruel way of testing even the strongest hearts. Her son, Josiah, had left for a foreign land with dreams too large to stay contained. He promised letters, promises, money, and to make life better. And for a while, Veronica believed. She trusted his fiancée, Vanessa, to help maintain that connection, to care for her while he was away. But slowly, the cracks appeared. Vanessa's smile grew colder. Her words sharper, tinged with impatience. The money Josiah sent never reached Veronica. Each day, the warmth of trust turned into the chill of betrayal. Slowly, quietly, Veronica was pushed out of the home she had known, out of the life she had built. Doors were closed, shops ignored, people walked past her on the street without a glance. And soon, she found herself sleeping on cold benches beside shuttered stores, begging for scraps of food, shivering under the night sky, her heart heavy with sorrow, her body growing weaker with every passing day. The first winter in the streets was merciless. The wind cut through layers of clothing, the rain soaked through her meager blanket. Every cough, every shiver, reminded Veronica that life had become a test of endurance. She counted her days in fragments, the hours until the sun rose, the minutes until someone might notice her, the seconds of hope fading like smoke in the wind. Memories haunted her, Josiah's laughter, the smell of fresh bread she once baked, the warmth of her small home. But each memory only made the present harder. And yet, even in this bleakness, Veronica survived. She had no choice but to survive. And sometimes, survival itself becomes a quiet act of courage. Olivia, a young nurse, walked the city streets in her own world of exhaustion and dedication. She had known struggle too, long nights without food, tiny paychecks stretched thin, sacrifices unnoticed by anyone but herself. But her heart carried something rare, the refusal to ignore suffering. And on one unusually cold morning, she heard it. A soft, barely audible moan from the shadow of a crumbling building. Her steps quickened, and there she found Veronica, huddled, shivering, eyes barely open, lips cracked, fingers numb. Olivia knelt beside her, speaking softly, her words gentle yet firm, a bridge of humanity in a city that often forgot its own. She wrapped Veronica in layers of warmth, called for help, and refused to leave until she knew Veronica was safe. It was a small act of courage, almost ordinary, yet it was the first step in a story that would change all their lives forever. At the clinic, every heartbeat mattered. Nurses bustled, machines beeped, and the scent of antiseptic filled the air. Veronica's frail body fought against weakness, dehydration, and infection. Olivia. If this story touched your heart, Please press the like button, it truly helps. Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters here. And don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss stories that remind us of love, hope, and humanity. Stayed by her side, holding her hand, whispering words of reassurance. You're safe now. I won't leave you. You'll get through this. But the world outside these walls had rules that even compassion could not always bend. Payment was required, and Veronica had nothing. She could barely lift her head, barely form words. Olivia, without hesitation, approached Matron Grace. Take half my salary, she offered, her voice unwavering. It was a sacrifice that cost her greatly, but sometimes the smallest acts of generosity save entire lives. Matron Grace, moved by Olivia's devotion, approved the payment. Veronica, exhausted beyond comprehension, wept quietly, a mixture of relief, gratitude, and disbelief washing over her. In that moment, she understood something powerful, that even strangers can become angels. Meanwhile, Josiah, thousands of miles away, faced his own torment. Calls to Vanessa went unanswered. Messages remained ignored. Anxiety gnawed at him, but determination refused to release him. He reached out to friends, neighbors, authorities, anyone who might offer a clue. Every day, hope flickered, sometimes bright, sometimes dim. Each lead, each minor clue, was a lifeline. He remembered his mother's smile, her hands that held him as a child, her quiet words of wisdom. He would not rest. He could not rest. Love demanded he find her. Destiny was listening, and he followed it with a heart unwilling to give in to fear. Days passed, but the heart knows its own path. Following the trail of police reports, tips from neighbors, and the tiniest of clues, Josiah finally arrived at the clinic. His eyes searched frantically, and then he saw her. Veronica. Alive, breathing, wrapped in warmth and care. The relief that flooded him was overwhelming, almost painful in its intensity. Veronica, weak but aware, lifted her eyes. Recognition flickered, and then joy erupted in silent tears. Mother and son ran into each other's arms, a bond tested by distance, betrayal, and suffering now. Stayed by her side, holding her hand, whispering words of reassurance. You're safe now. I won't leave you. You'll get through this. But the world outside these walls had rules that even compassion could not always bend. Payment was required, and Veronica had nothing. She could barely lift her head, barely form words. Olivia, without hesitation, approached Matron Grace. Take half my salary, she offered, her voice unwavering. It was a sacrifice that cost her greatly, but sometimes the smallest acts of generosity save entire lives. Matron Grace, moved by Olivia's devotion, approved the payment. Veronica, exhausted beyond comprehension, wept quietly, a mixture of relief, gratitude, and disbelief washing over her. In that moment, she understood something powerful, that even strangers can become angels. Meanwhile, Josiah, thousands of miles away, faced his own torment. Calls to Vanessa went unanswered. Messages remained ignored. Anxiety gnawed at him, but determination refused to release him. He reached out to friends, neighbors, authorities, anyone who might offer a clue. Every day, hope flickered, sometimes bright, sometimes dim. Each lead, each minor clue, was a lifeline. He remembered his mother's smile, her hands that held him as a child, her quiet words of wisdom. He would not rest. He could not rest. Love demanded he find her. Destiny was listening, and he followed it with a heart unwilling to give in to fear. Days passed, but the heart knows its own path. Following the trail of police reports, tips from neighbors, and the tiniest of clues, Josiah finally arrived at the clinic. His eyes searched frantically, and then he saw her. Veronica. Alive, breathing, wrapped in warmth and care. The relief that flooded him was overwhelming, almost painful in its intensity. Veronica, weak but aware, lifted her eyes. Recognition flickered, and then joy erupted in silent tears. Mother and son ran into each other's arms, a bond tested by distance, betrayal, and suffering now healed by love and reunion. Olivia watched from a distance, her heart swelling with the quiet pride of having made this miracle possible. For Josiah, gratitude and love intertwined. They were inseparable, two hearts mending together after months of uncertainty. The reunion was not just a meeting of bodies, but a healing of souls. Recovery was slow, but every day brought a new layer of hope. Veronica's strength returned gradually, aided by the steady presence of Olivia. The clinic became a sanctuary, a place where human kindness was not measured in dollars, but in devotion and time. Meals were shared, laughter echoed softly through the hallways, and small victories, a smile, a whispered thank you, a steady step, became monumental celebrations. Josiah stayed close, helping however he could, learning that love can be an action as much as a feeling. Together, they rebuilt a sense of safety and belonging, proving that even after betrayal and loss, life could offer a second chance. Olivia's unwavering compassion had created a ripple effect, transforming not only Veronica's life but Josiah's, and eventually her own. As Veronica regained strength, another story quietly unfolded. Josiah, inspired by Olivia's selflessness, found himself drawn to her not just with gratitude, but with a slow, undeniable pull of the heart. Their conversations grew longer, laughter warmer, and the unspoken bond of shared humanity deepened. Evenings were spent under soft light, speaking of dreams, fears, and memories. Olivia, who had given so much to strangers, began to allow herself the vulnerability of joy. Josiah, once burdened by betrayal, learned to trust again. Slowly, a quiet love bloomed between them, one not rushed by circumstance, but grown through shared trials, shared victories, and shared hope. Their hearts began to dance to a rhythm created by courage, kindness, and the slow healing of past wounds. Life, however, is never complete without justice. Vanessa, the woman who had stolen, lied, and abandoned Veronica, could not escape the consequences forever. Josiah, armed with evidence and unwavering determination, confronted the truth. He presented it to the authorities, watched as investigations unfolded, and waited while the scales of justice began to balance. Veronica's pain, once invisible to the world, was now recognized. Vanessa faced the legal consequences of her selfishness, and the wounds of betrayal began to close. For Veronica and Josiah, the world no longer seemed indifferent. For Olivia, justice reinforced the importance of compassion, the knowledge that acts of kindness, combined with courage and persistence, could create profound change in the world. With the past finally behind them, a new chapter emerged. Josiah ensured Olivia was rewarded for her unwavering devotion, a new nursing position, a furnished apartment, security, and comfort she had never known. Debts cleared, opportunities opened, and slowly, a life of stability and happiness began to bloom. Their friendship transformed into love, unhurried but undeniable. One evening, amidst the soft glow of lights and the fragrance of blooming flowers, Josiah confessed his love openly. Olivia, tears filling her eyes, accepted, and in that embrace, a new journey of love began. Their marriage was simple yet beautiful, filled with laughter, blessings, and the knowledge that kindness and courage had led them here. Veronica, safe and joyful, watched with a heart full of gratitude, knowing that life's darkest moments had given way to its most radiant light. Life is fragile. Moments can change everything. Sometimes betrayal comes from those we trust, and sometimes salvation comes from the strangers who see us and choose to care. Compassion, courage, and selflessness carry a power far greater than wealth. Forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds, and love can emerge from the darkest of places. Every act of kindness matters. Every choice to help another ripples through the world in way we cannot see. And today's act of love may become tomorrow's miracle. So be brave. Be kind. Choose to help without expectation. Because even in the forgotten corners of a city, in the shadow of despair, humanity has the power to shine. And when it does, miracles happen. Now that you've witnessed this journey, take a moment to reflect. Life can be unpredictable. Betrayal can hurt, but love and kindness, they have the power to heal, to transform, to change destinies. If this story touched your heart, let it inspire you to act. Reach out to someone in need. Speak words of comfort. Give without expecting anything in return. Every small act matters. Every choice has the power to ripple through the world. And if you believe in the power of hope, courage, and selfless love, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories that remind us what it truly means to be human. Because kindness is a miracle waiting to happen. And maybe, just maybe, the miracle begins with you.